Capricorn, what if I told you that the reason money flows to you faster than others, easier than most, and in ways they don't understand has little to do with effort and everything to do with energy? What if your path to wealth isn't only about the work you do, but about the soul you were born with? This isn't something you can explain to people, because most won't understand. They'll say, "You're lucky. They had help, it just happened for them." But you know better. Because you've lived through the moments where you worked quietly, suffered silently, built patiently, and still something always pulled you forward. Something unseen. And that something is not random, it is not luck, it is spiritual design. Capricorn, wealth responds to you because wealth recognizes you. There is a hidden language written on your soul, one that was placed there before you even knew how to speak. It says, builder of legacy, bearer of discipline, holder of wealth, chosen for responsibility. This isn't a motivational phrase. This is the truth about who you are. So before we go deeper, let's ground ourselves in this power. Say this in the comments right now. I was born for greatness. Type it, speak it, claim it with your whole chest. Not because you want to believe it, but because deep down, you already do. You see, you are not here just to survive. You were never meant to settle for average. You are not here to chase after small things. You were placed on this earth to build dreams, to build systems, to build wealth that lasts beyond your name. To build peace in places where there used to be chaos, to build strength where others fell apart. You're not just chasing money, you're becoming the person that money looks for. That's what this message is about. Not hype, not guesswork, but divine truth. Capricorn, your ability to attract wealth, to keep it, multiply it, grow it, protect it, wasn't something you earned last week. It was something engraved in your spirit from the very beginning. Today, we're going to uncover why it feels easier for you now. Why doors are opening, why favor is finding you, why even your past pain is paying you back, and why this season of your life is not just a reward. It's a recognition of everything you've carried and everything you're becoming. So stay until the very end, because by the time we reach the final chapter, you will understand what God has hidden inside you and why it's time for the world to see it. What was once quiet will now be noticed. What was once delayed will now arrive. And what was once hidden will now make you wealthy. This is not about luck. This is about alignment. This is not about chasing. This is about receiving. Your riches were never denied. They were simply waiting for you to realize you were always meant to lead. The unseen contract of responsibility. Capricorn. From a very young age, something felt different. You noticed things. You understood what needed to be done. Even when no one said it. You were the one who stayed calm when everyone else panicked. The one who planned while others played. The one who took charge without asking to. Maybe it was your family. Maybe it was your environment. Maybe it was life itself that kept handing you things too heavy for a child to carry. But you carried them anyway. Quietly, carefully, without complaining. And even though no one said it out loud, everyone knew you were the one they could depend on. What they didn't know was that every time you stepped up, every time you said, "I've got this," even when you didn't, you were signing a spiritual contract with the universe. Not a contract of burden, but a contract of becoming. You were being shaped for something big. You were being trusted with responsibility so that one day you could be trusted with riches. Because Capricorn, real wealth does not chase noise. It does not look for show. It searches for the soul that understands structure, patience, loyalty, and strength, even when it's quiet. And you? You were shaped in silence. While others avoided duty, you became duty. While others scattered under pressure, you became the one holding everyone together. While others broke promises, you became a keeper of order. And somewhere in all of that, a magnetic energy formed around you. Not the kind of energy that screams for attention, but the kind that draws in blessings, without noise. Capricorn, you didn't just earn the right to be rich, you became the kind of soul wealth can trust. Because wealth, real wealth, spiritual and material, doesn't go to the loudest voice, it flows toward the calmest vessel. And you've been calm through storms no one even knew you were in. You've walked through seasons where you were the only one holding everything together. But you didn't fall apart. You didn't run away. You stood up and said, "I'll handle it." That is why you are trusted. That is why you are favored. That is why wealth follows you. Because the universe remembers every quiet sacrifice, every unseen effort, every moment you chose responsibility over ease. And now, those sacrifices have built a spiritual foundation strong enough to carry something bigger. Your wealth isn't just money. It's reward. It's recognition. It's response to the silent agreement you made with life long ago. If I stay strong through it all, will something beautiful come out of this? And the answer is yes, Capricorn. It is already happening. This is why getting rich is easier for you. Because wealth isn't confused about who you are. It knows exactly where it's going, and it's headed toward the one who's already proven, "I won't drop it." The sacrifice most people won't make. Capricorn, you didn't become who you are by accident. You didn't stumble into discipline. You chose it, even when it was lonely, even when it was uncomfortable, even when no one else around you was doing the same. While others partied and lived for the moment, you thought about the future. While they spent money as soon as it came in, you held back. You stretched what little you had. You made it work. You said no to what you wanted now because you saw something bigger coming later. And while they chased attention and applause, you stayed behind the scenes. You studied. You worked. You prepared in silence. You didn't need to be seen. You needed to be ready. And the universe, it watched all of it. Every time you turned down the easy path, every time you chose growth over comfort, every time you said no to pleasure so you could build purpose, you were making a trade, a sacred one. You were giving up what was temporary to make space for something eternal. Capricorn, most people want success, but they don't want to sacrifice for it. They want the reward without the process. But you respected the process. You understood that short-term pleasure could never compare to long-term peace. And that understanding made you a vessel worthy of holding real abundance. Because here's the part most people miss. Wealth doesn't go to whoever talks the loudest. It doesn't even go to the most gifted. It goes to the soul who's prepared, the one who made room for it, the one who cleared the distractions so that blessings would have a clean landing place. That's why your path is different. That's why things are opening for you. You didn't just ask for success. You became the type of person success is drawn to. You didn't take shortcuts. You didn't fake it. You didn't jump the line. You built your own road, one step at a time, one choice at a time. And now, money is flowing through that road. Opportunities are walking on that path. Because your discipline carved a spiritual highway through which miracles now have access to reach you. Capricorn, you are the foundation. You're not just building wealth, you are wealth. You're not just attracting blessings, you've become the kind of soul that blessings cling to. You gave up so much, but what's coming? It's worth so much more. This is why getting rich is easier for you now, because you've already paid the price in silence. And the return? It's loud, it's powerful, and it's just beginning. The cosmic test of patience. Capricorn, you've watched others rise before you. You've seen people get chances you deserved. You've witnessed doors swing wide open for them, while yours stayed shut. You worked hard, prayed quietly, waited in silence, and still, it felt like nothing moved. You told yourself to be strong. You told yourself, my time will come. But the waiting, it tested every part of you. You waited through disappointment. You waited through confusion. You waited while others questioned if you were doing something wrong. But deep down, you knew something was being worked out behind the scenes. Capricorn, listen carefully. The delay was never rejection. It was refinement. It wasn't punishment. It was precision. Because when you rise, it isn't just a small moment. When you win, it affects everyone around you. You don't just bring success for yourself. You bring change, structure, healing, and generational security. That's why your path took longer. That's why the road felt harder. Because what's coming to you isn't a temporary blessing, it's a permanent shift. You weren't just being delayed, You were being aligned. The timing of your success had to match the spiritual weight of your purpose. And now, the timing is finally right. The door that's opening for you now is not just to a job, not just to a new level, but to a legacy. One that will outlive you. One that your future children will benefit from. One that your ancestors already prayed for. This is not about getting ahead quickly. This is about being placed correctly. And Capricorn, that's exactly what's happening. The delay gave you vision. The delay gave you maturity. The delay gave you strength that no storm can steal from you now. You didn't miss your moment. You became the moment. You didn't fall behind. You rose in divine time. That's why this new chapter feels different, because it's not coming from force, it's flowing from alignment. You are no longer chasing time. Time is now catching up to your destiny. This is why getting rich is easier for you now, because you have the spiritual patience most people never develop. You didn't rush the process, you trusted it. And now, what's been slow will speed up. What was blocked will break open. What felt impossible will finally arrive. Not just for today, but for generations to come. You were never late, Capricorn. You were just being prepared for something so much greater than what you asked for. And now, it's your time, the mountain and the map, Capricorn. You were never meant to walk an easy path. You weren't given smooth roads or flat ground. You were handed a mountain, tall, steep, demanding, and no one gave you a manual except heaven. From the outside, it looked unfair. People around you had it easier. They were born into comfort, shortcuts, and second chances. But you were born with weight. You were born with pressure. You were born with something deep, deep in your spirit that whispered, climb. Not everyone is given a mountain. Only those strong enough to climb it and wise enough to understand its purpose. Because the mountain isn't just an obstacle. It's your training ground. It's where you gain clarity. It's where you meet the version of yourself that the world can't shake. But here's the secret most people never realize. You weren't just given a mountain, you were also given a map. And this map isn't made of paper. It doesn't come with GPS or voices telling you which way to turn. It's made of intuition, of inner knowing, of signs only your spirit can read. Capricorn, your map is inside you. You feel it when others don't. You sense when something isn't right. You can feel when it's time to slow down, when it's time to stay still, and when it's time to make a move no one else understands. That's what makes you different. Others see the climb and stop halfway. You feel the wind shift and keep going. You don't wait for motivation. You move with purpose. You don't just have ambition, you have alignment. And alignment means this: you are not just moving for success, you are moving with direction from above. When others look for signs outside, you close your eyes and listen. You don't chase noise. You listen to the still voice that says, now is the time. Go. Capricorn, you've never followed crowds. Even if it meant walking alone, you chose calling over comfort. You've been misunderstood for that. But don't let that shake you, because what you carry is rare. You were not sent here to copy others. You were sent here to create a path, to be a leader in a world full of followers. And that's why abundance finds you, because abundance doesn't follow popularity. It follows purpose. When you move, you don't just hope. You know, because your map may be invisible, but it's accurate. It's led you through darkness before, and it's never failed you. So yes, your mountain is tall. Yes, it has taken time. But look at how far you've come, without shortcuts, without applause, without a crowd cheering you on. And now, that same mountain you once cried in front of is becoming the very place where you rise and see the world from above. This is why getting rich is easier for you, because while others wait for signs, you are the sign. You carry divine instruction in your bones, and that instruction has guided you straight to the top. Why money trusts you. Capricorn, money is not just paper. It's not just coins or numbers in a bank. Money is energy. And like every powerful energy, it's looking for a home it can trust. It wants to feel safe. It wants to feel protected. It wants to know it won't be wasted, mistreated, or thrown away without thought. And that's why it comes to you. Capricorn, your soul was built differently. You were not shaped by ease, but by experience. You didn't learn from luxury. You learned from limits. You know what it's like to stretch a small amount and make it last longer than it should. You know what it means to go without and still give. You know what it means to manage, to plan, to grow slowly. And because of that, you don't take abundance for granted. When money sees you, it sees discipline, it sees vision, it sees wisdom. You don't chase wealth to show off. You're not driven by ego. You're driven by purpose. You understand that money is a tool, not a trophy. You don't worship it. You wield it. And here's what makes you powerful. You don't let money define you. You define what money does in your life. You use it to build. You use it to uplift. You use it to create peace for yourself and the people around you. Capricorn, this is rare. Most people only think about what they want, but you think about what will last. And money? It senses that. It recognizes your spirit. It sees how you make every little blessing multiply. You're not careless. You're careful. You're not afraid to wait. You're not afraid to grow slow. And that makes you dangerous in the best way. Because while others are chasing fast riches, you're building a foundation strong enough to hold wealth for years. That's why money is drawn to you. It knows you won't lose it through foolishness. It knows you won't spend it just to impress people. It knows you'll protect it and make it grow. Capricorn, you've been tested, and every test shaped you into someone who can be trusted with more. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The results will speak. Your fruit will speak. And your wealth will reflect the kind of soul you are on the inside. Money follows trust, and the universe trusts you. This is why getting rich is easier for you, not because you've had more, but because you've done more with less. You've been faithful in small things, and now you're being trusted with greater. It's not a coincidence. It's not a fluke. It's confirmation. You are ready. And now the energy of abundance is finding its rightful place in your hands. The protection surrounding your path. Capricorn, have you ever looked back and wondered, how did I survive that? How did you walk through what others collapsed under? How did you face betrayal, heartbreak, loss, delay, and still come out wiser, stronger, calmer? It wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. There is a force around you, a protection you didn't always see, but you've always felt. It showed up when people tried to pull you down, and somehow you still rose. It showed up when life tried to break you, but instead of falling apart, you grew even more focused. Capricorn, the reason wealth comes easier to you now is because your path is spiritually protected. You are not walking alone. You never were. There is a divine intelligence guiding your steps. Even in silence, even in confusion, even when it looked like nothing was happening, something was. Because every attack that came against you wasn't just blocked, it was turned into a lesson that built your emotional armor, a lesson that built your spiritual immunity. So now you're not just successful, you're stable. You're not just rising, you're protected while you rise. This is what most people don't understand. It's not just about having money, it's about keeping it. It's about not losing yourself when it arrives. It's about staying grounded, clear, and covered. Capricorn, heaven has ensured your journey. It's as if the universe said, I will allow you to go through trials, but I will not let them destroy you. And so, every betrayal became fuel. Every delay became wisdom. Every closed door became redirection. You were built in fire, but you didn't burn. You were tested in storms, but you didn't sink. You were wounded, but you didn't quit. That is divine protection. That is spiritual armor. And that's why what belongs to you cannot be stolen. No matter how hard someone tries to block you, no matter what they whisper behind your back, no matter how unfair it looks from the outside, your path remains untouched. Why? Because it is written. And what is written cannot be rewritten by human hands. Capricorn, your destiny is sealed, your rise is shielded, and your blessings, they are under spiritual security. You weren't just made to get rich. You were made to stay rich, to protect what you build, to guard what's sacred, and to share that wisdom with others. That's what makes your journey different. You're not chasing wealth, you're becoming a safe place for it to rest. And that's why it keeps finding you. You are not only blessed, You are watched over. You are not only prepared, you are guarded, and nothing formed against your purpose can survive. The power of stillness and strategy. Capricorn, you were never loud. You were never the one screaming to be noticed. You didn't need the spotlight to feel important, because you knew something most people didn't. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Stillness doesn't mean stuck. In fact, your silence has been your secret weapon. While others rushed to be seen, you studied what they missed. While they posted every move, you moved in wisdom. While they burned themselves out trying to force results, you waited for the right moment. You were never lazy. You were calculating. Capricorn, your stillness is not emptiness. It's strategy. You know when to wait. You know when to listen. You know how to observe without reacting. And when the time is right, you don't hesitate. You strike with precision. And when you do, things shift. Because when you make a move, it's not random. It's divinely timed. It's backed by planning. It's filled with purpose. This is why your rise feels smoother now. It's not because it's easier. It's because you're ready. You've been preparing in the dark. You've been building quietly. You've been saying no to distractions so you could say yes to destiny. And that discipline has now turned into flow. Capricorn, you don't fight battles the way others do, because you've already won them in your spirit. That's the truth. You win before the world sees it, because the real war isn't outside, it's inside. And your inner world? It's steady, it's focused, it's clear. You don't waste energy chasing what isn't aligned. You don't rush what isn't ready. And because of that, what is meant for you arrives without chaos. Capricorn, your strategy comes from divine wisdom. You don't just make plans, you align with timing. And when you align, you don't miss. You've watched others rise fast and fall even faster. But you're building something that will last. Because it wasn't rushed, it was rooted. This is why wealth flows to you with less resistance now. Because your preparation has removed the barriers. You already cleared the path with your patience, your focus, and your quiet strength. You never needed to be the loudest in the room. You just needed to be the one who knew what they were doing. And now, you do. Your stillness is not weakness, it is wisdom. And your strategy is not pride, it is power. Capricorn, the battlefield has already been conquered, not outside you, within you. And because of that, you no longer chase abundance. You simply position yourself to receive it. This is your superpower. This is your rhythm. This is why getting rich is easier for you now. Your path to riches is spiritual. Capricorn, you were never meant to live a normal life. You were never built for small dreams or surface-level success. There is something ancient in your bones, something wise, patient, and unstoppable. You carry the kind of energy that does not just survive hardship. You build in it. You create in it. You transform it. You were made to build cathedrals in the middle of deserts, to take dry places and make them bloom, to stand where there was nothing and turn it into something sacred. You were made to make palaces from pain, to turn every scar into structure, to take every trial and use it as a brick for something lasting. You turn silence into strategy. You turn pressure into plans. You turn every no into a stronger yes. Capricorn, your riches aren't just measured by money. They are measured by your mind, your spirit, your strength, and your ability to endure what others couldn't. You've been prepared in ways no one saw. You've passed tests that weren't announced. And now your season has arrived. The wealth that's coming to you isn't loud. It's divine. It's not flashy, it's purposeful. It won't just come in the form of money, it will come as alignment. It will show up as ideas that move people. It will come through relationships that feel peaceful and easy. It will find you in rooms where your name is respected, not just noticed. Capricorn, this kind of wealth can't be rushed. It has to be grown. And now that you've grown into the version of yourself who can carry it, nothing can stop it. Say this softly in your heart, even if no one's around to hear it. My riches are spiritual first, and now they will be seen, because they will. And not just by the world, but by the very people who thought your silence meant nothing was happening. You didn't rise loud, you rose right. And that's why you're walking into a season where everything fits, everything flows, everything aligns. If this message reached your soul, type in the comments, "I was born for greatness." Let that be your confirmation. Let it be your seal. And if you've been silently walking this path alone, know that you're not alone here. This channel is your space, a space for divine Capricorn revelations, a space for truth that doesn't shout but shifts something inside you. So if this spoke to you, subscribe, not out of habit, but out of alignment, quietly, intentionally, because this is only the beginning. You are rich in destiny, and now, watch how heaven funds the rest.